I'm using the Sawtooth Tube Series 20-watt amp. This is a tube amp, and I like to refer to this as pushing air. I've used all different amps in my life, and I've tried modeling. I've tried a lot of different things, but I really like this amplifier because when you play with a drummer and air is really being pushed out of that amp through tubes, you cut through. I can use an amp 20 watts and play along with the drummer. When I'm on tour, my next shows, all my shows, I'm going to be using this amp in the head. Also, we have the combo version, and I'll be using some 212s. But one of the things that I really like about this is the versatility of the unit itself. I mean, it's got a great clean sound. You can play everything from you can play everything from clean, like country style things, to really pretty. It's just got a really nice, beautiful, clean sound to it. And you know, I studied jazz when I was a kid, and for example, like just a simple 1-6-2-5 breezing. So it's really nice for clean guitar sounds. But the versatility of this amp really shines through when you want to like kick it more into overdrive. I kind of look at tone in a few different ways. You know, when you have your basic clean sound, then the second degree of it would be like more of like a rock sound, like an old school rock sound. If you think Aerosmith or that generation, Alice Cooper, then you kick it in to that more 80s style metal, and then you have new metal, which is just balls out. And so this amp is capable of all those. When it starts with the clean sound, I mean, it's really nice. I have zero effects on there. There's no spatial effects whatsoever. All you're hearing is a guitar, a chord, and an amplifier. And I can't stress this enough. A lot of times when you're using modeling and you're using, you know, everything in one box, it sounds great when you're sitting at home and you're filming and you want to put something on social media. But when you are on stage and you are playing with a real drummer who's trying to blow your brains out with how loud he can hit, you're playing with a bass player who secretly keeps going back to the amp, turning it up all the time because he's not loud enough. So what you need is an amp that cuts. You need an amp that we call pushes air. Sawtooth tube amps push air. I can crank this bad boy up, and I had this happen at a show in San Diego. I was playing with another guitar player with a you know, tricked out modeling rig, and the house sound man comes up to me, he goes, "What are you using, man?" And I go, "I'm using the Sawtooth." He goes, "Man," he goes, "it sounded great." He goes, "It just cut through everything." And again, pushing air. This pushes air. You don't have to crank it up. I didn't even need to crank 20 watts up all the way to play along with the drummer. And it was corroborated by a house sound man in a big venue in San Diego. The idea is very simple. When you have a great amp and it cuts through and it gets the tones you want, it's the amp I want to get. So anyway, it starts with the clean sound. Now we're going to move to the overdrive settings. I've switched guitars and I've changed a little bit of the amp settings. I put the gain up. I didn't really add too much mids. One of the things that makes these amps special to me is the frequency of the mid-range, the voicing of the mid-range. There are certain amplifiers out there, and from someone like myself who has toured so extensively around the world and also have done 1,000+ guitar clinics, I have seen, I would say safely 90% of all the amplifiers that exist on this planet, all the different brands. I've played through them. So I have a lot of experience when it comes to looking at an amp, kind of deciphering what it's going to do and hearing immediately if I'm going to get the tone that I want. One of the things that, besides pushing air on the Sawtooth, it has a mid-range voicing that's very pleasing to the ear. I like to refer to it as the frequency 1K. There's that 1K frequency that's inherent in this mid-range. Not all amps have it. There are certain brand names that I'm not going to mention. That doesn't mean they're not really good amps. It just means they're scooped in such a way that even if you turn the mids all the way up, you're not going to get that sound. So you're not going to be able to get that old bluesy sound or that old school rock sound or that really meaty mid-range lead sound. So anyway, I've set this to kind of like a classic rock sound. So we've got overdrive. But it's real tight construction. Had to get a little bit of that in there, but it has a really nice tight rock sound. Now I can metal it out a little bit more. I don't use many effects, but I can add a front house, like a front overdrive. So now you're in the shred zone. So you have your tones. Now, if I want to even get a more modern metal sound, all I have to do is reduce the mid-range. So you scoop this bad boy out, add a little high-end ball. So you have 4 tones that you can use that run the gamut of everything you need to do. And again, it's one thing having great sounds. It's another thing having an audience be able to hear it. And so that is where the Sawtooth tube amplifiers come in. They really seriously, and I'm going to overuse this phrase because it's true, they push air. Now you see this wall of Sawtooth behind me. What I have here is the 20 watt combo. Well, here we have the 20 watt head, and then we have a 212 cabinet here. And one of the things that really separates Sawtooth from other companies, and one of the reasons these amps sound so great, is that the wood they use for this is 9-ply birch open back. It is a super high quality wood. And if you had to say a difference between, you have this amp here, 20 watt, this is a 20 watt head. The real difference is just a combo with an open back versus a cabinet that's closed back. So when I play bigger venues, which I've got a lot of shows, most of the venues will be using these cabinets like this. But every once in a while, especially even recording, I will be able to use a combo amp. And there are certain instances, for example, I just played in California. I didn't need this. This was loud enough, and the stage was better using this because we had so many guest artists on stage. But the real difference is they both sound fantastic, but you have, with these cabinets and a closed back, it's a little, if I had to use the word, tighter sound. So it pushes that air hard, but it's like a focus, more tight, especially for metal and rock. And for jazz, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. And I can still get a really metal sound out of this. But my main configuration when I perform live is this with the cabinets. And I still love the open back, but that tightness of the tone is something that I look for in my music that's heavy and aggressive.